Hi, this is Tom Vizzini of Essential Skills, and I want to talk to you a little bit today about rapport. When I was first starting into sales and management and, the various jobs that I've had before I did this, people would mention to me, rule number one, get rapport. And I was like, that's great, that's a good idea. How? What came out next was a string of the most ridiculous advice I think I've ever heard in my life. Find a picture in the room. If it says fishing, act like you're a fisherman. Be like they are. Mirror their body language. Be like them. And on the surface of it, that really sounds like it's good advice. It really sounds like something you'd want to do. But the reality of the situation is, it's 100% wrong. And believe me, look, years ago, we used to emphasize, being like they are. But more than that, it was being at the same level they are. Which made sense, because if you're at the same level they are, then you're going to be able to talk to them. And what we mean by level is, if you find somebody who's really highly excited, and you walk up to them like this, and you talk really slowly, you're not connecting with them. This is the problem I have with people who teach, persuasion and influence and some of the things where they want to use commands. They want to give commands to the unconscious mind. And all of a sudden they start talking in this really interesting hypno voice that creeps people out. Stop doing that, all right? Nobody teaching it really expects you to go out and speak that way, because you're breaking a connection. All right, so rapport, on the other hand, if you look at it the way we teach it and how we've changed the whole face of what rapport is all about. And rapport is about being what the other person needs. What's that mean? So let's imagine this. All right, let's just imagine this for a second. All right, here's me. Boom, 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 boom. And I'm in the ocean. Oops, but I'm not happy. I'm drowning because land is far, far away. I'm drowning in the ocean. What do I need? Well, using the old standard of rapport, what I really need is another person who is also drowning, so they'll be able to understand how I feel. Does that make any sense whatsoever? No, okay? That's not the kind of connection I'm looking for at that point in time. I don't need this guy, okay? I mean, we can sit around and commiserate about how about we're both going to die very soon. What do I need? I need a lifeguard who has a life buoy and a little t-shirt with a life thing on his chest. I need a lifeguard. That's what I need. That's what's going to make me feel good. That's what's going to make me feel like there's something I really want. Okay? I don't need the other drowning guy, all right? Does that make sense to you? You have to understand when you're approaching someone, when you're talking to someone, when you're managing them, when you're selling to them, when you're doing anything, when you're saying hello in the grocery store. What does this person need? What do I need? All right? Do I need, I'm drowning and I have a choice. I can go with a lifeguard, or I could go for this guy down here, all right, who is selling me bricks. Okay? If I'm drowning, do I need or want or desire to talk to a brick salesman? Think about it. It would be stupid, okay? It would be ridiculous. And that's the point I'm trying to make to you. You have to understand what role you need to play when you're talking to people, when you're, the funniest thing I've heard, well, not the funniest, because I hear funny things about every day. All right? I have a friend of mine going to buy a car. Him and his wife go into a car sales showroom, and the salesman keeps talking to the guy. All right, big mistake. And the guy explains, hey, the car's not for me. It's for my wife. You're really going to have to talk to her. So, he keeps dragging the car on. And, and she's interested in inside, the comfort, the features, what she can reach, how the car fits her, all of these things, okay? The salesman's going around lifting the hood saying, look at the engine. She wants to know if she can reach the radio, if she could see out of the car, if there were blind spots. He brings the guy around again and is, showing the guy, well, like you could look at an engine and tell anything. It's like when they're new, they all look shiny and like they'll work forever. So this guy goes off for a second, and my friend and his wife leave. He did not think about, what the salesman did not think about was what these people needed, all right? If I'm lost in the woods, what do I need? Do I need somebody else who's lost in the woods? No. I need somebody with a map. All right? And when you have someone with a map, it makes a whole lot more sense, and you're a whole lot more connected, and you want to be around that guy because he's got the map. Now, what you don't need? You don't need somebody else who's also lost. You don't want somebody who's, happen to be handing out blindfolds, because blindfolds don't help lost people. You need to know what role you need to fill in order to make a connection and pull people towards you. See, this whole idea of running out, capturing, convincing, people to do things, even forcing them, even if it's, trying to hypnotize them to do things, is ridiculous, because it's so much easier to get them to want to do things. You have to understand this is a really important concept, all right? I really want you to think about it, because it'll change the way you think about connection, rapport, and how to deal with people, all right? Here is them. They are a puzzle piece. Puzzle. What do you need to do to connect with them? All right, just really quickly illustrating this. Does being another puzzle piece actually connect? Does it? Does it connect? Does that help? Does that work in any way, shape, or form? No. All right. What this person needs is a piece that fits. And you end up with a connection. Do you get it? Am I making sense to you? This is an important concept for you to understand. Now, why learn rapport? Why bother? Why connect with people? Okay, this is the lubrication. This is the thing that greases the skid so that everything else works so well. If you don't have to have rapport, you're using force. When you become the connection, when you become the piece that they need for what they're doing, then you actually have influence. You actually have connection. You have a way of being able to lead, guide, follow, whatever you want to do so much better than you ever thought possible. If you take the time. Now, when I talk about rapport, what am I talking about? Okay, because this is important. And I've broken it down into 4 simple steps that you need to follow. I mean, now, you can learn this stuff in detail. I mean, we spend a lot of time on it. We do a whole 2-hour pre-training on it. And we do, a whole, in the 5-day total life transformation, we do it every single day. All right, and let me tell you right now, if you're not getting these kind of connections with people, you need to consider either coming to London or watching it on the internet. One of those 2 things are going to be important, all right? So what do you have to do? Let me give you the things, just 4 easy things that you can follow that will help you today. And then you can make decisions about other things later, all right? Observation. Before you walk up and talk to anybody, because a lot of people walk up like this, and then they show up and they're blindsided by who's standing in front of them. All right, you have to observe before you walk up. 3 things that you need to observe. What mood are they in? Are they really focused and running around? Okay, they're going to be a little harder. They're going to tell you you have about 5 seconds to make an impact. All right, are they really relaxed? If they're really relaxed, that doesn't mean you come up and get in their face. Okay, where is their focus? Are they walking through a mall like this, full blast? Are they reading something very intently? Are they looking around? just taking in everything and observing. You need to figure out where they are before you even walk up and say hello. The second part of this is where a lot of people make mistakes. The second part is to adjust. That means that you have to be able to adjust what you're saying to fit the person that you're talking to. Let me say that one more time because it's really important. You have to adjust yourself to fit what they're talking about, the observations that you're making. So if there's somebody who speaks very quickly, you're going to have to speak a little bit more quickly. All right, if you talk like this, you will bore them to tears and they will run away from you. Okay? If their focus is very intense and you want to do something, you're going to have to do the chore of breaking their focus and pulling that focus to you. Which, okay, now we're back to the last video I made about anchoring and how to elicit states and make people want to come to you and make yourself more magnetic is the best term I can think of, okay? What role do you have to play? Are you the lifeguard or are you lost? Or drowning. There, I confused myself. If you're drowning, you need the lifeguard. If you're lost, you need the guy with the map. Okay? Who are you? What are you going to have to do to become the lifeguard or the person with the map? To be able to hold their attention. All right? Are you going to adjust what you're going to say? If you walk up and say the same thing to everybody, that means that only a very narrow amount of people are going to understand what you're talking about and are going to respond to it. So for people who are faster, you have to talk faster. For people who are focused, for people who need a lifeguard, it's going to be different than for people who need a map or people who need to tell you something, and you may have to change and become a student. You may have to become a follower, which brings me to the third thing, defining the connection that you're going to have. If I walk up and talk to somebody, and when I talk about the kind of connection, we'll make it really simple. The three types of basic, and I'm talking base level connections that you're going to want to talk to people about or connect with them on. Are you going to be equal to them? Are you going to be mildly dominant to them? Or are you going to be mildly subordinate to them? Okay? If you are two people in a bookstore and they're reading a book that you seem to like and you both seem to be in the romance section or you're in the business section, you want to approach someone as an equal when you're talking on an equal basis. All right? If you're walking up and your initial thing you're going to say is going to be a question, even if it's an anchoring elicitation, you want to go mildly subordinate. Allow them to teach you what they need. All right? And if you're the lifeguard, you have to be the leader. If you're going to come in and you need to tell somebody something they need to do or something they want to do, then you have to become the leader. When you're a salesperson, you want to start out as equal. Be a little subordinate, ask them what they need. Then be the leader and show them the answer. And the answer has got to be the answer that you give them. So you shift through any interaction, and it gives you flexibility. Then you want to move them, okay? The lifeguard doesn't just show up and tread water next to the guy and say, well, I'm here, I'm the lifeguard. You have to actually save the person and get them out of the water. So you have to get them from where they are to where you want them to be. The guy with the map doesn't just show up with a map. He actually leads the person out of the woods. Now what this means is, if I'm trying to sell you something, and I've learned, I've connected, I've understood what you need, I've anchored a few things about trust and reliability, and maybe best friend even, and maybe even desire, things you have to have. Okay, and because I know they're going to buy it off of somebody, they might as well buy it off of me because I've got a good product. So I feel very comfortable with using that anchor. Then I'm going to move them to action. Then I'm going to become the leader and say, listen, here's what I think you need to do. I have this product. It fits what you want, need to be. Why don't we go mildly dominant, fire the anchor, and sign the contract or pay for the product, because I know that I want to take care of you. Drop to equal, back to best friend, hit the best friend anchor. All right? Now, this might seem horribly complex to some of you, but this is a basic level skill. And the advantage of what we teach and how we teach it is that we actually go out into the field. As a matter of fact, in London, the seminars at Regent's College, which is right in the middle of Regent's Park, which in May is going to be packed with a bazillion different kinds of people. You know, there'll be tourists, there'll be locals, there'll be everybody will be in the park. There'll be people exercising, there'll be people sitting. You know, one of the favorite short story from London. We're in London, and there's this guy there walking through one of the parks. And there's a guy there feeding squirrels, and people are standing around. He's got this squirrel really nice and tamed, and people are standing around. And so Kim turns to a guy and asks about the guy. She says, "Oh, he's deaf. He never talks to anyone." So, of course, being Kim, she walks right up to the guy and she looks at him, and she softens her body. She connects with the guy. She understands that, you know, being American tourist is probably not going to be the best rapport getter. Believe me, in London, that one never works. But, you know, the next thing that happens is almost amazing. He turns to her and says, "Would you like to feed the squirrel?" And she spent the next 40 minutes of having this guy tell her about what World War II was like in London and being down in the tunnels. All of these amazing things that nobody else around got to hear because they made an assumption that the guy was deaf because he didn't talk to them. The truth is, they were never the kind of person he wanted to talk to. And Kim went up and observed, adjusted, connected, and looked at him, and then he came to her. Now, this is the power of rapport. This is the power. I don't care, you know, who needs this? You know, if you're in sales, you need to be able to connect with, you know, different types of people all over the place. Or you're going to be a mediocre sales guy that's only able to sell to people who's like them. You know, if you want to go out socially and meet people, you're going to have to adjust, observe. You're going to have to see what they need. You're going to have to look at who they are and then make a decision. Am I going to use the same gimmick I used on the last 47 people I met? Or am I going to treat this person like an individual and actually have something interesting to say? You know, I'm going to connect with them. You know, one of my favorite things, it sounds counterintuitive for being a guy. People think that they need to be dominant. They need to be alpha. The truth is, subordinate is such a powerful position because it lowers everybody's defenses. And immediately they feel safe. And then moving them. Then taking that level of rapport, moving over to a position of, you know, of managing people. You know, I think we need to do this to move forward. I think that, you know, this is a great product. Why don't we go and you know, get the deal done? You know, I think what I'd like to do next, why don't we, you know, I'm going to be back here next Saturday. Why don't you meet me and we'll go out and do something? You know, doing that movement with the proper level of rapport takes whatever you're using. And I don't care what kind of method of persuasion you're using. I don't care if you learned it from us or anybody else. It's going to make your success rate skyrocket because you're going to get outside of your head and you're going to connect to that other person in a way that makes you feel good. It makes them feel good. Really, I mean, seriously, I really don't know if I can say this strongly enough. So, if you're the kind of person who's interested in learning more about this, we will be in London for 5 days in May. There will be a whole month of pre-training before we show up for the 5-day seminar. So when you get to the seminar, you're already trained. We don't have to waste valuable one-on-one time with Kim and I teaching you. We get to adjust you and make you better at what you're already doing. And then, you know, 4 post-trainings, probably 2 weeks or a month apart. That's going to be an extra 2 months or 3 months or 4 months of training. This is the kind of training you've always been looking for. It's the kind of training that you feel good going to and you want to get value out of. And we have a money-back guarantee. So go to the link. Again, go to the link below here to find out more. Or email me at tom.vizzini, Vizzini, @gmail.com. And I'll be glad to answer any of your questions. Anyway, thanks a lot, and I'll talk to you soon.